And welcome
Good
to
day,
Obidient
everyone, and
Family
welcome to
TV. The
Obidient
program
Family
is Hope
TV. The
Alive.
program is Hope Alive.
Yes, there is hope,
Yes,
and
there
the
is
new
hope,
Nigeria
and
is
the new
possible. Now, good
Nigeria is
morning,
possible. Now,
afternoon,
good
and
morning,
evening,
afternoon,
depending
and
your
evening,
time
depending
zone.
on your time
Once
zone.
again, we're here
Once again,
today
we're
to
here
have a
today to
discussion
have
on
a
the things
discussion on the
happening in
things happening in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
And as you
And as
know,
you know,
a lot of
a
things
lot of
are
things are
going,
going,
fast forward in Nigeria
fast
as
forward in
this Dele
Nigeria as
Farotimi's issue
this
keeps
Dele
going. For the
Farotimi's
issue
issue
on the
keeps
book,
going. For
Nigerians
the
are
issue
rushing
book,
to read
Nigerians
that
are rushing
indictment
to read
against Afe
that
Babalola,
indictment
and of
against
course,
Afe
that has
Babalola,
invariably
and of
turned the
course,
book to become
has
the bestseller
invariably
in
turned the book to
bookshops,
become the
Amazon,
bestseller
and
in
elsewhere. It
bookshops,
is just
Amazon,
going
and
on, being
elsewhere. It is
sold
just
out.
going on. It's
That
being
is the
sold
book, the Nigeria
out.
and
That
its
is
criminal
the book,
justice
Nigeria and its
system
criminal
by Dele
justice
Farotimi. So you
system
better rush
by
and get
Dele
yours.
Farotimi. So you
Now,
better rush and
but
get
the
yours.
trending issue or
Now,
the breaking news
but
at this
the
very hour
trending
is
issue or the
that
breaking news at
Dele
this very hour
Farotimi
is
has
that
approached
Dele
a court
Farotimi has
in Lagos.
approached
He
a
has
court
filed
in
a
Lagos.
suit
He has filed a
challenging
suit
his defamation
challenging
issue in
his
Ekiti State, and
defamation
of course,
issue in Ekiti State,
the
and of course,
arrest and the unwarranted
the
detention,
arrest
and being
and the
sent to
unwarranted
prison.
detention
So
and
he's
being sent
currently
to prison.
in a
So
Lagos
he's
court
currently
challenging
in a
that, and
Lagos
of course,
court
a whole lot of things that
challenging
are
that, and
happening.
of
But
course, a whole lot
we
of things
have
that are
with
happening. But
us to
we
discuss
have
all
with
of
us
this
to
Angel in the
discuss all of
studio,
this.
and we have Mr. Basi, we have Mr. Christian, and of course, the Randy Peters that we all know about, who is joining us today to have this very discussion. But before we start, let's start with the angel in the studio.
Welcome to the program Hope Alive. Sit tight, relax, let's discuss.
Yes, sit tight, and while you are sitting tight, do not hesitate to touch the like button and share so that active citizens across the world, we know that the active Obidient television studio is live again this evening. So let's get this very discussion started. Angel, we have discussed earlier in the day and the reaction of people everywhere, but the book in question has gone like I mean,
Hot
it's a
cake.
hot cake. Okay, that is the Nigerian adage of something that is very hot. Now, not just that the book has become hot. Nigerians are not just interested in just buying the books. They're interested in reading that criminal justice system that is rotten in Nigeria that Dele Farotimi is, explaining. So, and they want to see the indictment on Afe Babalola. So, but before I get to you, I know you have a whole lot to say, but let's get the people who are joining us via Zoom. Mr. Peters, Randy Peters, welcome to Obidient Family TV. And earlier in the day, we actually saw your post on IG where you were explaining to Nigerians on the hashtag free Dele Farotimi now. And we felt you should come and explain to the Obedience here why you took that we saw the background information that you set at your back. Obviously, you were either at the farm or something. Can you tell us your take on this very thing? Now that Dele Farotimi is in the Lagos court challenging the defamation and his abduction from Lagos, and the issues surrounding why he's actually being abducted the way he did regarding the issues. So I want to see your take on this, because we see you are very active. When you were talking about this, you were not so aggressive, but active, that Nigerians should actually come out and support Mr. Dele Farotimi at these very trying times.
Thank you very, very much. I greet the Obidient family and everyone listening all over the world. We all need to be very, very, because Nigeria is at a pinpoint. We have been at the press. The issue or the case against Dele Farotimi to my understanding and from what we can see, goes big book Nigeria and its criminal justice system. But even sticking to the book, every incident that has happened within the last few days is a pointer and a confirmation to the fact that the Nigerian justice system is criminal in nature. But beyond that, my very interest would be the question that who exactly is after Dele Farotimi and why are they after him? Is that truly it is because he wrote a book and he defamed Afe Babalola? Afe Babalola is a 95-year-old statesman. He is a respected legal practitioner. He is the owner of Afe Babalola University, Abinadoik, and he understands the workings of the legal system. And he knows that in a defamation, it is a civil case. But then if you look at the entire scenario that has led up to where we are today, you would know that this could be the voice of Esau and the hand of Jacob, as it is said most times. Mr. Dele Farotimi is not just a human rights lawyer, he's an aggressive advocate for a better Nigeria, who has been using every opportunity to call for electoral reform and complete institutional reforms to save this country, and has become a soft target or target by the political elite who feel that people who question government or call for systematic reform are the enemies of the state. If not, how can a senior lawyer like Afe Babalola come down to the level where police officers leave a state like Ekiti that is about 6 or 7 hours away from Lagos, boycott the police interstate arrest protocol and go to Lagos and adopt another law clear that if anybody nowhere if you can write me officially, and then you rush to a magistrate court where a judge who is already sitting in a kangaroo room is already ready to refuse bail and remand the person. So there is a lot of turns and twists in the Dele Farotimi case, and that is why Nigerians must continue to ask the question, beyond this book, beyond Afe Babalola, what other issues are against Dele Farotimi? Is his calling for institutional reform, has it begun to touch some nerves? And are those nerves reacting now? Nigerians must rise up and speak up for themselves.
You are just right on it.
Thank you on that. Then the other thing, you just spoke about electoral reform, and you know that Dele Farotimi is a stout critic of Chief Bola Tinubu's administration, and of course we've had different things that he has said, of course, on the reforms. Do you think that part of the reason why he's being targeted is his advocacy for electoral reform in Nigeria prior to 2027 election? Because I also know that yourself is, as you always say, justice for Nigeria. So you are also a supporter of electoral reform. So do you think is this advocacy for a change in the Electoral Act that may have led to this? Because if the electoral reform do take place, maybe the rigging for 2027 may not happen. What are your thoughts?
In fact, the basis of Mr. Dele Farotimi zeroing in on electoral reform is his understanding that if that system and that institution is completely reformed and working efficiently, criminals will not be in government today. Nigeria will not have the kind of calisthenics it is seen in governance. And that is why you see Mr. Dele Farotimi continue to hold government by the jugular. And they believe that people who try to hold you also accountable are the enemies of the state, whereas non-criminals and terrorists are moving freely. In fact, in the Nigerian military, there is what they call Operation Safe Corridor, where non-Boko Haram terrorists were granted amnesty and even empowered financially by the government, who is still fighting a war. But Mr. Dele Farotimi has understood the caveat that if we are able to reform this electoral system, these persons will not be able to have their way into public office and continue these shenanigans. And once you see politicians who do not want to hear electoral reform, then you can begin to perceive mischief. Because once you talk about electoral reform, it's like you are triggering a part of them. Because without that, once you reform that system by 2027, the door is shut, the loophole is closed. So, of course, when you hear a person like Dele Farotimi come out every day and continues to hammer that we must fix this, we must fix this, the question is, who is against electoral reform? I thought President Buhari, former General Buhari, said he's a repentant Democrat. Chief Tinubu said he's also a Democrat. The hallmark of democracy is free, fair, and credible elections. If Dele Farotimi is calling for electoral reform, why are so-called democratic leaders against free, fair, credible elections? So the devil is in the detail, and it will take Nigerians to come together and agree on themselves for how long we want to continue in this tyranny. And if we cannot stand up for ourselves and our fundamental human rights, then we want to leave ourselves to remain a captured people and live as hostages in our own country. May God forbid that.
Our own people. Talking about that, just the last thing that I want you to, also touch on is the call for the 10th of December. Do you think that Nigerians, the way it has been going in the past and up till now, do you think that they will really come out by the 10th that Dele Farotimi is, I think, scheduled to be in court to, to arrange themselves in Lagos, Abuja, Ekiti, and several other places that have been here marked for the hashtag free Dele Farotimi? Do you think that the Nigerian youths and the lovers of democracy, like you say, can converge and come in numbers to do this and show this government that, yes, this can be done, and people like us who are speaking out for democracy, accountability, and transparency in Nigeria at least can be protected by the masses?
To preempt what Nigerians will do, but it is also my position as an office of an active citizen to call upon Nigerians to know that in a case of an oppressor and an oppressed, silence is an endorsement of the oppressor. And if you think that because Dele Farotimi is a name that may be far from you, Dele Farotimi is a symbol of a problem or a symbol of a situation. It can be any other person. In fact, today it is Dele Farotimi and people are talking about it because he has a surname that people know. How many Nigerians have police moved from one state to another to abduct that nobody heard about? If you are traveling from Lagos to Asaba or wherever, police can stop a vehicle and say, you come down, vehicle continue to move. How many of those human beings do we not know where they are? So Nigerians, Dele Farotimi is a rallying point for everybody to know that you can be a target. You can become a victim. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors. Tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The dead can no longer die. So Nigerians will have to decide whether we keep silent and die in silence or we speak out and fight for what we truly believe in. So anybody who loves democracy, who loves the sanctity of human life and the fact that we must live freely in an egalitarian society must not only speak up but must come out and show support that there have to be freedom. And even when there is a problem or a perceived offense, it must be prosecuted in line with due process and the rule of law, and not this tyranny of a criminal system we have.
Aka Peters
is the advocate for a new Nigeria and, of course, always preaches justice for Nigeria. Thank you very much. You can also reach him on the IG, which is Instagram, on Randy Peters. So thank you for joining us today. We wish to have more of you as the week runs out. Thank you very much. Now, oh, thank you. Okay, so before we get to our next guest who is standing by, Mr. Bassi and of course Mr. Aka, Angel, you heard what he said, especially on the issue of Nigeria. You know, he can't say whether Nigerians who some people say are docile will come out to march the streets, but I think what we do here is to encourage Nigerians, just like you said,
to come out on 10th. Yes, we need to support our own Dele Farotimi. We need to support him. We need to come out in mass. We need to occupy that high court that day in Edo Ekiti. Yes, we need to occupy the place. Those in Lagos go to Afe Babaloba chambers. Those in Abuja, go to Federal Ministry of Justice. Those in Ekiti, go to police headquarters at Ekiti. Yes, we need to come out in mass. Without that, these people cannot take us serious.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's quickly get Mr. Basi. Sorry we kept you this long, but please tell us, you've heard what our Mr. Akapita said, and we believe that you have your own opinion. Now that Dele Farotimi has already filed a counter-suit in a Lagos court. That is the breaking news. We hope that, you know, things will start taking shape. But what I want to get your opinion on is the idea that the book is selling so well right now that it's a sold out. And the second thing is whether you think that Nigerians will come out to support, you know, an advocate of a new Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Good evening, all the panelists. I must say that the issue of Dele Farotimi is it's a disgrace to a nation that we continue to behave as if we are rascal as a nation. And then secondly, you talked about the issue of the book. And this also brings me to the issue of the story in the Bible where the devil, if the devil had known that by killing Jesus Christ, the entire world would be liberated, they wouldn't have done it. I'm sure if this man had known, I had a glimpse of the fact that it's because they are narrow-minded in their thinking, that by taking this step, he was going to help to popularize and sell that book the more. I'm sure he wouldn't have done that. By doing so, we know that Dele is already a popular figure when it comes to the civil space. But by doing that, he has also helped to promote that book the more. That now people are even looking for the book. They are eager, they are anxious of trying to know what is really inside that book that would have caused a man of his repute to begin to act like a child. Because when a man who is supposed to be at the who is an icon in the legal profession begins to behave like a novice in that profession, it makes us feel that even the book, like Randy Peter rightly said, the title of this book is actually apt. So Nigerian government and their ruling elite have demonstrated the fact that they have validated the work of Dele Farotimi in coming up with that book. So that is exactly what they have done. And he's taking a step to press for his fundamental human right is a step in the right direction, which is what a reasonable person should do. And he doesn't want to fight dirty like they are doing. Even though the legal system is in doubt, but he still wants to explore that course to ensure that at least his fundamental human right is not trampled upon. That is already like they've already done. So that is what I am seeing. And again, back to the issue of calling out for protest. My concern in all of this is that why do we have to give a deadline till 10th of December before we can? Why do we always have to give the enemy opportunity to gather and re-strategize by giving a long notice? I don't think that date should be extended. It should be a mass action and an instant one, because You don't need to give government a notice to go on. We are not NLC that say we must give 14 days notice before you embark on strike. This is a citizen who feel aggrieved by government's action. So you don't need to give. All you just need is to ask for police protection in going about your protest. So I have issue about this 10th of December date of protest. But again, let's see how it goes. And we hope that Nigerians will rise up for a moment, like Randy Peters says. An injury for one is an injury for all. So if we said it doesn't concern me today, tomorrow it might be your turn. So this is the time for everybody to rise up, because we are seeking a better nation, a nation where everybody is equal, where nobody is above the law, where everybody is under the law, the rule of law that is supposed to guide the society. So that is what I think we should all embrace. And I believe that everybody should be part of this protest, should be part of this protestation, to ensure that Nigerian government do not take Nigerians for a ride. They should they begin to do things the right way and allow Nigeria to breathe, rather than pressing their knee on our neck on a daily basis. Every day we wake up, we are greeted with different scenario of hardship in this country. So for how long are we going to go through this? Like you asked a question earlier on. This is much more than defamation. Like my brother said, it's clearly the hand of Jacob. The hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob. The undertone of this. You remember the petition first started with Tony Elumelu. When they saw that was not going to fly, they brought an angle to this other one. So this is where the thing is heading to. They are the ruling class. They are the ones that are really trying to suffocate this nation and the citizens, to ensure that nobody is breathing. And it is high time we rise up and take our position as citizens. We must not be allowed. We must not allow them to trample on our right and dignity. Thank you.
All right. Just one more thing before you go.
Do you agree that aside from this book being having made a bestseller, don't you think that at least we have many Nigerians now reading about the rot in the criminal criminal justice system in Nigeria? So, some people just look at this from the perspective, the book is selling so well, Dele Farotimi is being exonerated, as the case might be. But they are not looking at it from the fact that several people will now read this book to understand the rot in our criminal justice system up to the level of the Supreme Court. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree with you on this. I would also like to lend my voice to every Nigerian who sees himself as a victim of this government and the ruling class to get a copy of this book. There's need for us to understand the rot in the system, because this is coming from an insider, someone who has seen it all from that perspective. So it's important for us to know exactly the level of rot in the system and the perpetrators of this rot, because it's not, a system cannot just be destroyed by just a system. It takes a couple of activists in the system, participants in the system, to be able to create that rot. So it's important for Nigerians to lay their hands on this book. Let's get this first-hand information. Let's be enlightened by the by the contents of this book, so that we will know the level of wrath, and that also will also guide us when we are seeking for reform. We know the kind of reform that we need in the system. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bassi.
Joining us all the way from Calabar Municipal. Now, tomorrow, Mr. Bassi will be talking about the Labour Party people who had decamped, because I sense that one of the people who had decamped from the Labour Party into the APC happens to come from your Calabar Municipal, but that is a discussion for another day. Thank you very much for joining us. On tomorrow, we'll talk all about the Labour Party and the people who had defected and what they call the Hall of Shame for the defecting House members. Thank you very much, Mr. Bassi. Now, thank you. So let's quickly jump to Mr. We don't have much time again, Mr. Aka. Mr. Ako, I hope you are still there. Can you hear me? Oh, good. Mr. Ako, thank you very much. All the way joining us from Niger State. So, Mr. Ako, you've heard what the people who joined us had to say about this. But let me come straight on about this very criminal justice system. Do you think, just make it very quickly for us, if you think it is just because of this book that Dele Farotimi is being sought by Tony Elumelu of, somebody I respect so much, but that respect is taking a dive. And somebody who dines with the president, Mr. Chibola Tinubu, and also being sought after by a legal luminary like Afe Babalola. Do you think it is all about the book and the defamation, or you think that it has to do with the call for a reform in our electoral system?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. The situation surrounding Dele Farotimi is a multi-dimensional perspective. One, he's very vocal, and he stands against the illegitimate mandates, which he has not shied away from it from day one. And you understand the criminal nature of the Nigerian judiciary, how they have lowered the bar beyond what one could actually imagine of a very critical institution like the judiciary. So I'm not surprised that he's been put through this kind of difficult challenge where he's been kidnapped and being hastily prosecuted and tried in the law courts. All these are arranged. Of course, they'll be finding a loophole where they could conveniently charge him, and they couldn't find. So they felt they could exploit the libel suits to bring him down. But of course, they refer to me as said from the one that is a victim of Nigeria. Is a victim of the Nigerian misgovernance. Is a victim of the Nigerian judiciary in all multiple perspectives. So there's nothing the government of the day try to do or through whichsoever individual that can bend him. Of course, Tony Elumelu is part of the status quo, and he rather preferred to mend fence with the same system that is milking Nigeria rather than stand for the masses, which Dele Farotimi, of course, represents.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Ako, thank you. Of course, we have run out of time. I had other things that I had wanted to discuss with you, but our time has really gone, and I've been told by our team to make this sharp. So, but thank you very much. Tomorrow there's another day we'll be talking so much again about different other things happening in Nigeria, because so many things are happening, but we really have very limited time to do this. Thank you once again for being with us today, Mr. Ako. Okay, Angel, you've heard from different perspective, Mr. Ako, Mr. Basi, and of course Randy Peters. And everybody is of the opinion that Nigeria needs to move forward. Let's get your last words as we are being prompted of time.
Yeah, Nigeria judiciary is messed up. We are not citizens, but victims of Nigeria. We need to say enough is enough. Yes, we need to stand up. This is the time, this is the hour. It is now. It is Dele Farotimi today. It might be me tomorrow. It might be you watching me tomorrow. So we need to rally around. We need to get together. Yes, we need to rise and say no, enough is enough. So that the intimidation, the victimization, the corruption will cease in our country so that we have a new country. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up to the video. Let all the obedient know what is going on. We appreciate you, my active citizens and obedient worldwide. Thank you so much. We love you. The God loves you more. Bye for now.